2nd, 2024, and I'm coming to you live from my home. Ooh, it looks like both streams. I don't know if they're behind or what, but whatever. It's all right. So I just want to say, I mean, once again, I am trying to broadcast on a regular screen and on the mobile stream. So if you're on a PC and you see this in a mobile layout, you can go back and click on the show that should be visible because I unlisted the mobile one. I am still not quite sure. It seems like I got the plugin working, but now I'm still not quite sure how it works. Like getting the whole purpose of the mobile streams is, like I'll be scrolling through YouTube Shorts and I'll see these live streams and I will click on them sometimes, and sometimes I interact with them, and sometimes they're fun, and then I've seen a couple of people who are doing chess on both a regular stream and on a mobile stream. So so I was like, well, I should do that, and that's what I'm going to do. Instead of chess, which I learned my lesson about yesterday, trying to do chess live, I am going to be programming. So last night I actually worked on this a little bit. I kind of just went through, added a few little details to the region database compiler. And so what I'm doing now is I kind of went through and I did a bunch of other stuff. I'm not gonna talk about all the things I added, but right now, right before the stream, I did add this variable db file as a class variable to the region database compiler class. And so what I need to do now is I just want to make sure that this file is deleted. So remember we had this backup function where we were going to take the database and we were going to rename it to .001.002. We could work on that today, but I think it'd be more fun to work on the JSON stuff. And so for now, I think all the backup is going to do is just delete the existing file. So I also realized that in some places I'm using boost file system, and other places I'm using standard file system. I'm going to try and be consistent and use standard file system. You can see here the AI is already like exists plus backup and then file system rename, which is pretty close to what I want, but not quite. So, is that what I want? I think for right now we're just gonna rename it to backup. Okay, maybe we'll start with that. So, and that shouldn't be. Oh no! Come on, AI, give me a break, AI. Okay, but we can use some of the stuff from this. So we could do something like const auto db file backup, and this is going to equal file system path of the db file string. No. That's not quite what I was going for. We can do that though. We can actually. I would prefer backup because I don't want to be using this and then suddenly I think that we've actually implemented the normal backup functionality that we ultimately want. And so maybe what we should do, because I realized also yesterday that like I'm writing a bunch of stuff. So we have two things we need to do. We need to do this backup and let's do this temporary backup functionality. And then let's actually write a user story. Let's try to do a little program management on this project for actually writing the real backup feature. So right now we're just going to do this. So if std file system exists db, then the AI knows what I want, because if the backup file already exists, delete it. And then if db file exists, then we rename the current one. Okay, and that's it, right? And then basically maybe what we want to do is we want to maybe wrap any of these. No, not quite that. So I'm thinking of just wrapping both of these. Actually, let's just wrap each individual one DD backup. All right, I do see an issue, but wait a minute. We're going to do this, though. We're going to do it like this, because then this way we can kind of, yeah, cannot remove existing backup. That's fine. And then if, let's see. No. I don't want if. I want try. And then we're going to wrap this one in a try block as well. Have AI do our nice catchphrase. Okay, so AI removed it, replaced the backup with 001. We want to actually use the string backup. Rename backup. Okay. All right. I think this is good. So one of the things I did last night was I actually decided to actually start using the data folder, which I was working on Mac, and then so just this morning before I started streaming, I made sure that it would work similarly on Windows. So you can see here, here is C:\program data, which is like where Windows by default allows, if you're running a program, the program has permissions to write to this folder. So that's why we're here. So GeoSketch, and you can see it already put in here. So let's just test our backup functionality really quick and see if it works. And of course, as always, my good pal Captain Fandom Nerd is in the room. Good morning, Captain Fandom Nerd. I hope you are doing well. All right, let's see what happens. So all we want basically is we should see that this, not that file, we should see that this DB file turns into a region.db.backup. Now we did get compiler errors. What did we get here? Path is not part of it's not. I think maybe all I need to do here is just include file system. Because I am fairly certain that path is part of file system, but I may not have had the entire file system library, or like at least where path is defined. I may not have had that included in this here. So let's see. All right, it seems to be okay now. It doesn't seem to be complaining. And again, we're hoping that this region.db file, when we get to here, when we get to the return true, we're hoping that it turns into a region.db.backup. That's all we want. I've often wondered about like how I am compared to other programmers, because in terms of what iterative steps do you implement one by one, like how small are those steps? And like I generally keep my iterative steps pretty small, because if you write a bunch of code and then run it and then there's like some like obscure bug, it's hard to find where you messed up. But if you keep it at small steps, it's a little easier sometimes. All right, so here we go. So we got this. Okay, so it didn't, that's fine, that's acceptable. Okay, so it's going to say the DB file exists, and it's going to change it to backup. And then there it is, backup, perfect. And then that's it. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to run it again. And I just want to see if it deletes the backup as it's supposed to. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so it's going into there. It's going to delete the backup. We should have an empty folder now. Perfect. And then that's it. And then it's going to run. Okay, nice. And then we can carry on. Now, this is where we get to the fun part. So I changed the command line a little bit. Let me show you what I did. So I added, if we go over here, it's hard to see, but I'm just going to copy the whole thing and put it into the text editor. It'll be a little easier to see like that. So let's just put it right here. So you can see I have the normal stuff where I'm defining the resource folder, I'm defining the Windows resolution or the window size. I'm muting all sounds, and then remember -C was what we added yesterday, and -C was to tell it to compile the data even if it doesn't have to. Eventually we're going to have some functionality that makes it look, it will make it auto detect that it wants to recompile the data. But what this is doing now, the -C is an argument, and it tells it where to find the source data. So it's going to create, remember, it's going to take the JSON file and turn it into a database file. So this -C argument tells it where to find the where to find the JSON file. Now there was something I wanted to do. I mentioned it when I began up here writing the backup functionality. I think what we should do is, so that I don't forget, we should just create a little ticket for ourselves. And you can see I've created exactly one ticket in the history of this project, which was just trying to get it to build on Windows. Okay, so new issue. Oh, I'm not signed in. Okay, let me sign in over here. I'm going to sign in off screen so that I don't want any Finnish hackers coming in and, like, you know, trying to take my... Oh, well, I might not remember my password. Okay, one more time. Okay, what is my password? Okay, you're going to have to give me a minute, because I got this. Okay. All right. I don't know my password, but I know how I can get my password. Password manager, which I'm definitely doing this off screen, because then you're going to see all my passwords. Here we go. GitHub. Okay, so the password is... Okay, I got to do this. So the password is... Okay. Okay, now... Okay, there we go. Okay. Show me the password. Ah, okay. So the password is Joe's birthday. Of course, that is my default password for most things. Okay. All right. So now, because I'm extra special and have two-factor authentication on, no, wait a minute. Use GitHub Mobile. Okay, we sent you a sign-on request on GitHub Mobile, which I will do on my phone. I'm listening to shorts here. Okay, GitHub. Oh, my cat is whooping. What are you doing? Approve. All right, let me let my cat out. Go. Go to mommy. Go. All right. So, we should be signed in now. Let's make sure that is correct. And yes, we are signed in. All right, I'm going to do something over here really quick. I thought I already did it, but let me see. Yeah, no, okay, I did do that. Okay, did do that thing. All right, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a new issue. These don't have, let's see. So this would be feature. Implement database file backup strategy. So currently only one iteration of the database. All right, I'm just going to type this out. Okay, so currently one iteration of the database file is backed up to a dot backup file. Instead, the backups should be numbered up to 999, like so. Then we have region.db.001 region. Let's just put this here like this. Region.db.002, etc. Okay, so this is the strategy. Let's go ahead and give it a label of enhancement, because that's what it is. We could also do a good first issue and help wanted for anybody who would like to join in on the project, including people who said they would, in case they're watching. And then I think that is it. Oh, what do I have here? This is from a whole... Yeah, yep. I was going to release Owl. I was going to work on Owl some this year, but I've gotten sidetracked with this. Anyway, so we'll sign this to myself for now, and then we'll submit it. So that way we won't forget about this, right? I mean, we probably will, but at least it'll be here instead. Okay. All right. Back to what we were doing. What were we doing? Okay. So we created a bug to make sure we don't forget to improve this backup functionality. And then we could be even extra special by doing this, by putting in the code C for how to enhance this function. Okay, perfect. To keep multiple backups. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to get to the fun part because we are going to try and take the region data. We're going to try and take the JSON files and we're going to put them into a database. And I was trying to think of how to do this because the challenging part is the parent-child relationships. And again, I was like, well, you know, let's start with the naive approach, or maybe it's not even that naive. Oh, excuse me. Let's start with kind of like a, you know, just kind of the straightforward way to do it. And since this is only going to happen once every now and then, and you're talking at most, what was the scale of regions that we decided on? Like hundreds of thousands. So if you had hundreds of thousands, I still don't think it's going to take super long to do it. Maybe I'm wrong there. So remember, we have to, let's look at the data again. We have to come up with a way to represent parents and like parent data. So here we have North American data, and we know that this is a continent, and then the continent has the countries, right? We can hard code the relationship. We can hard code that continent is a parent of country, and country is a parent of state, and state is a parent of county. We can take that for granted. I think we will be okay if we take that. So I was thinking, well, then maybe what we do is we just scan all the data files and we figure out what is what, right? We figure out all the continents, all the countries, etc. And there'll have to be some type of recursion because there'll be like sub-regions, whatever. And so what I was thinking of doing it, a kind of a naive way to do it. So we have our regions. Where did the regions go? I'm going to open up a split screen. I always forget how to open up a split screen in Visual Studio. Here we go. Okay. And then I always forget how to open up a second copy of this file. How do I do that? There's like a weird way to do that, and I can't remember what it is. Split? No. I always go to split, and it's not split. Window, float, new window? Ah, okay, new window, because I want to drag one over here. That's why I wanted a new one, if I can get it in there. All right, so what I wanted to look at on the right-hand side was the regions, which it opens on the left-hand side, but let's just put it there. Because remember, we have our region, right, which is just simply it's the base class essentially. I mean, well, it's not essentially that's exactly what it is. It's the base class, and then we have continent, country, state, or county. So with those, what I was thinking, again, this is a very, not like getting any kind of like clever or using any like, well, yeah, no, if you just go ahead and you cast it then if you cast it to a long int and then you turn it back to a float with the logarithm and then you just kind of like, you knock on it twice, then you can get what you need. Like, no, none of that. It's going to be very simple. So we'll work with pointers. I don't know that these types have, maybe we just want to go ahead and do that. So I know I have a region pointer, region weak pointer. So we're going to assume strong pointers is what we're going to do. So we're going to have, okay, look, the AI knows what I want, and I want strong pointers, or shared pointers, I should say. So continent, country, state, and then county. Okay. So we're going to use share. So I'm thinking just a vector of continents, right? Very, very simple. Continents. And then the same for countries, and then the same for states, and then the same for counties. Okay? And what I'm thinking then is, I mean, the AI already knows what I want. I mean, it has an idea what I want, but what I'm thinking is just go through each JSON file and just populate the same vectors, so that at the end, what you'll have is you'll have vectors full of continents, countries, states, and counties, and then you can write the continents to the database first, then you write the countries to the database, then you write the states, and then you write the counties. Pretty simple. Though now I think about it, maybe I don't even need vectors. Maybe instead I just need, Now we might need to revisit this, because I think, because these have, well, actually, no. Okay. Because I was going to say these have, I was going to say that these have set stats, right? Like a country has a currency, but a county's not going to have a currency. However, in the database, I just represent those as stats. So instead, what I'm ultimately getting at is maybe I don't need this continent, country, state, and county separation, but maybe I'm going to leave it for now. But each region will have a set of stats. And the stats, those can simply just be though the stats will simply be stats. Yeah, they'll just be that's kind of what I was getting at. They'll just be a map of strings, right? So you'll have a population and then the number. But I know I could get fancy and put std any in there, like you could have any std. That was a joke. But I think the type, the actual having, I don't know that there's any advantage to actually storing an integer in this case, because we're not necessarily going to be using the integer as an integer. We're really going to be using it as a string. Okay. All right. Now I'm kind of going back and forth on that. You know what? Let's get fancy, because I was thinking, like, what if if I have a population of like 1 billion, I'm going to want to put commas in it. And then if I want to put commas in it, then I'm going to need to know it's an integer. So maybe it does make sense to store the type. Now, I've used boost any. I haven't used std any. But I believe, if I remember, std any was added in, go back. Was added in C++ 20. And there's actually one other thing I wanted to do. I was fooling around with NVIM or NeoVM yesterday, and I kind of like it, but I think the thing I liked most was the font I downloaded on my Mac. So I'm going to download it here as well. How do I create how do I install a font on Windows? Okay, let me see. README. Do I just click these? Will that print install? Okay, I guess that installed. Perfect. Easy. All right. And then now the last one. Okay. And then on this little ADD sidetracked adventure of mine, I want to... Where in the world do I edit preferences? It's usually under here, though on Windows I don't think so. Tools? Options? I want to change the font in my window. Okay, so let's see. Text editor. Good. General. Good. Advanced? Maybe I just do up here. Font. Fonts and colors. Easy. Okay. So now I want to find the 0. Okay, I might have to restart Visual Studio though. Let me see if I have to restart Visual Studio. Okay, let's save everything. It is a wonderful day to be programming, right? It's like cloudy and a little overcast. I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be today. Let's take a look. Well, it's supposed to get up to 80 degrees. And I'll go ahead and share this with you. Right now, we're sitting at 65 degrees in the greater Washington, D.C. area. It is a cool overcast morning. Today, probably around noon, we should see the clouds scatter out, and we see highs at around 80 degrees. Oh, wait. No, it's going to be cloudy all day. All right, that's a good day to work in the yard. Easy, easy. Okay, now let's see if I can change the font. Where did it go? Oh, it's in Tools. Options. It was under Environment, right? Why is that not in alphabetical order? Okay. Environment. Fonts and colors. Here we go. Okay, let's see if my nerd font got added, which of course it didn't. Huh. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong menu. Here we are. Ah, there we go. Oh, did it change it automatically? Did I already have it installed? No. Okay, so that it updated it there. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure it's mono spacing. Okay, it is. Okay, so I liked this font. I was a fan of this font. I don't know why, but I was. Okay, it's going to take a little getting used to. It's going to take a little getting used to for you and for me. Bilaknati Nikhil says, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Bilaknati, what? I would like to ask you a question. Did you find my stream while scrolling through YouTube Shorts, or did you find my stream some other way, like on your PC? I'm very curious. Your answer could change the course of a lot of things. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. All right, okay. So what I was thinking was, if we look at the data, if I go through and I get the continents, I keep a map of the continents. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to keep a map of the continents. I'll have to keep a map of the continents, and I have to keep a map of the ID that I store when they get in the which isn't too bad. So let's try that first. What we'll do is we'll scan the files, looking for the region data in each one, and we can actually quit out a little early, right? If we write a contract to ourselves as far as how the data is going to be formatted. Why is there only, oh, there's 2 subregions. So if we go into the region tag and we hit a country, then we know there will be no continents, right? If we assume that the outermost region type is country, then we can assume that there will be no continents in that package. So we can actually quit out early and go to the next file. All right. So first thing we need to do is we need to be able to get a list of the files. And that can I'm very used to the boost file system, because for the longest time there was no actually, I'm trying to learn WordPress from YouTube, and then I found your stream in suggestions. But did you find it on your mobile phone, or did you find it on the computer? That's what I'm curious about. Because I have a mobile layout, and I'm wondering, is that stream actually showing up in like YouTube Shorts? But anyway, we'll see. Okay, we need to be able to iterate through the files, which I know you can do something like for auto maybe this file, and we'll make it const just because we're special. Const file. Okay, so this, okay, so the AI, I think I need to make this, I think I need to make the font size a little different because it's a little wompy. On my laptop. Well, that's not good. That's not good. I want this to be a YouTube Shorts stream. So I don't know if this is showing up on YouTube Shorts or if I just have two streams running for absolutely no reason. Okay. Anyway, how would I know if I actually if this is actually a YouTube short stream? I don't know. Okay, back to what I wanted to do. Nah, whatever. Okay, we'll go with that. That's a little big. Okay, that's what she said. Funny guy. Okay, all right. So let's see. The AI wrote for us. It gave us our directory iterator, which is what we want. This is the source, yes. And now, do we want to? We could restrict ourselves, and so this is part of the contract. So let's see. Actually, maybe this would be better as a wiki page. Okay. Okay. So new page. New page would be region update format. So we'll just put a couple of points. JSON files named as star.dat files, right? Each JSON file must contain only one outer region element. So what I'm saying is you can't, like, we can't have another region element here. Actually, I don't know if that's proper JSON, but that's it. Let's see. So the outer region element, they are on the short stream. Oh, cool. Okay. Thank you. Well, I mean, I know they're not in your stream, Captain Fandom Nerd. I know they're, I mean, I can see on my window that it's like two different windows, two different chats. But okay, I'm going to take your word for it, Captain Fandom Nerd. I'm going to take your word for it. The outer region element, let's see. Now, how can I put this? No, I think that's it for now. Let's see. The outer region element can only, region element must be the outermost region type in the file. All right, so we'll just kind of like these things that, like these rules that I'm putting on myself, I want to document them, and then we can go back later and we can make this, you know, prettier or whatever you want to call it. But for now, I just want to get them out of my head and onto the screen so that we can come back to them at a later time. All right, so we are going to go through the .dat files, and then we're going to look at the most out the region type. We will scan that. We know that's the parent, but I'm thinking we don't even need I was thinking at first we would just scan it file by file, right? Like we'd do one file, do another, but I think actually it kind of makes sense to go through all the files, look at the continents, go through all the files, look at the countries, go through all the files, look at the states, go through all the files and look at the counties. And then that way it's easier to do the parent-child relationship. So, all right, we'll do something if is regular file, and let's see, make sure file name ends with .dat, right? And then let the AI figure that out for us. The AI is not going to figure that out for us. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That makes sense. Importing data from file blah blah blah. Let's go ahead and make sure that works. So we've been on for a half hour. I think we can do this today. I think we can, at least we can get the lion's share of it done. I think we can. I think we can do that. I think we can do that probably in like an hour, maybe hour and a half. So this might be a little bit of a long stream. Though I did want to run. I do want to run. But that's all right. I can still do this. The whole point though is like there's like a there is a window of which I can run just for my like where I feel at peak running condition for the day. There is a window, and yeah, no, but I really do want to run. Okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, so we could see it was importing data from North America, South America, and United States. So that's I mean that's essentially what we wanted. Okay. Alrighty. So how do we do this? How do we do this? What I'm thinking here, let's see. No. If we go through each file, we parse it. How do you, I mean, there's a quick way to parse, let's see. Read a JSON object from a file. I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, fstream there. Okay, that seems good. Update for modern 2. Okay, let's see. Update, blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. Now, I mean, we're going to get down in the weeds because I think this is probably C string, right? Okay, this is, I don't know if I want to return false. Maybe I just want to kind of continue to the next one. Incomplete type. I don't have if stream and what, but it's not if stream. What is it? It's okay, yeah. AI knows that. All right, so I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I'm not talking. I need to talk more, or else Captain Fandom Nerd's going to feel lonely, and I don't want that. All right. All right. So what I'm thinking now is maybe just create a vector of JSON objects of the files. So the first thing to do is just go through each file and compile it. I mean, not compile it, but parse it as JSON. Okay, cannot open file. And then what we can do, so we can get a little tricky, is auto iterator, because we're going to add an object, region, files, in place back. Perfect. This actually gives a reference, and then from the reference, and it gives an iterator too. I think, I'm pretty sure. And then how do we read? Yes, just this. So I think this actually would then turn into, can I actually just do this? Yeah, it looks like I can. So I'm just creating a vector of all these JSON objects. Now, how do I know if this doesn't work? Does it throw? Oh, come on. Documentation. I'm just literally just gonna have to try it, because I have a feeling the documentation is not, it's gonna be buried in there, worded in some weird way. So the easiest thing to do is just create a bad JSON file and see what happens. I'm imagining that it throws. Let me try. Yeah. I was gonna say let me try this, and then I typed out try. Okay. Oh. So the AI essentially cannot parse JSON from file. Okay. So I'm going to assume this. I'm going to assume that's going to throw. All right, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Personally, I want to know where the hell Joe is. Joe is never. I'm loading up Discord. I rarely load up Discord because I want to write my own. And you don't know how many times I've actually been tempted to abandon this project to start working on my Discord project. But I'm like, no, I got to stick with something. I got to see it through. Okay, so the very first file it's trying is the invalid file. So this, let's see if this throws. So there's two important things to check here. One, that it throws. And two, that region files hasn't added an object. And I would think so, because it's going to throw in here. So this in place back is never going to finish. So it should. It looks like Joe's asleep. Wake up. All right. Okay, so that's the important thing, is that it throws. And it looks like it did. Let me see. Where's my output screen? Okay, importing data from file. Okay. Error, cannot parse because of, okay, syntax error. Okay, that's perfect. But I want to check the region files, and it still has a size of 0, which is what I thought it would be. So go. Joe is in the underground, but not awake yet. Yeah, no, he's a loser. You know, what do I need? You know, it's like I said, you